Hello everybody, I didn't realize I went live already. So I wanted to show you how to do a brocade effect and how it will look after you do it. Excuse me. For this effect I have here some, so this is Primo. And I have here some gold. And this is pretty much a half and half of bronze metallic and alizarin crimson. As you can see, it made a beautiful burgundy type color that is pearlescent. And most of the older brocade is on these tones of a dark red, a burgundy, a dark green, a dark blue, and hi Suzanne. And the designs are mostly in gold or in silver. It's hard to see other combinations, and I'm talking about the traditional brocade. Now, if you haven't watched yet, you can go on my channel and look in the playlists and watch my short playlist on Mokume Gane. And just reminding you that there are two types of Mokume Gane. One is the stacking type, where we make a stack and we use various objects to deform it, and then we cut slices. And then the second type is the stamped Mokume Gane, in which we use normally 2 layers, but sometimes we can use more. If you have watched any of my videos on this subject, and I know I have more videos on this subject for the members, you can see that you can obtain all kinds of absolutely fabulous effects. But for this, you will need a texture or a stamp that has very deep etching. That is an absolute must to be able to obtain this effect. For this, you will need, there are several types of textures that are like this. If your hands allow you, most of the roller textures are fairly deep. My hands don't allow me to do a very even, because as you know I do have issues with my hands, but of the other ones would be the textures of Helen Braille, like this Jitterbug, Helen Braille, and also Lisa Pavelka. Just be very careful because you need an innate texture, because like this one also is a good, or Cool Tools. And I'm going to show you exactly what an innie or an outie is, or because your other choice would be embossing folders. And when it comes to embossing folders, these are made to actually create patterns on cardboard paper. So they are very, very sturdy and pretty deep in order to be able to create those embossments. I don't know how they are called. Hi Elaine. Hi Sweet Pea. I'm so sorry. But I totally understand. After I explain this beginning part, while I'm working on other things, I will tell you where I am with my treatment. Okay, so talking about innies and outies, and we are not talking about belly buttons, okay, or other things. Toot, toot, toot. Okay, so an innie is a texture that has the pattern on it etched inside, going inside, so that when you apply it on the polymer clay, the pattern would be raised, will stand up. While the outie is more like a stamp. Pretty much 99.9% of stamps are outies. That means that on the texture, the pattern will be raised so that when you put it on the clay, it's going to be impressed in the clay. So basically, the easiest way to explain this, this, so the ini on the clay will look like the outie. The outie on the clay will look like the ini. Okay, so this is a very nice embossing folder. It is called Damascus, and this is exactly why I chose it. I think this is a Damascus. And you can find, if you go to my Amazon influencer store, yeah, they are excellent for deep texturing. If you go to my Amazon influencer store, and if you don't know how to go to my Amazon influencer store, I will show you. So you go to my channel, you practically click on my little name as it appears on the bottom or under the video, and then you go here at the very beginning and you click more, and see here it says Amazon influencer store, and you click here. I'm trying to keep it updated, but sometimes it's kind of hard because things are quite volatile on Amazon, and sellers come and go, you know, prices come and go, products come and go. But I tried to, it can be, sometimes it can be, even with all my OCD, it can be a little hard to find things, but I tried to organize them. The problem is that Amazon doesn't allow me to put things in alphabetical order or group them in any way. But if you go to, as you can see, you have all kinds of stuff here. And on some products I actually decided to not remove them, because sometimes I remove them and then when I went back they reappeared a while. Okay, so here is textures and sheets. These are the rods that you can buy at Home Depot or Ace to get those perfectly parallel lines. Cool Tools is also a good texture to use with this technique, and they went way, price of textures went up. But be careful with Cool Tools. A lot of times they have innies and outies. Okay, so to give you an example, it should be somewhere here. And they have these, honestly, right now, if you find any of the older ones, they are better priced. Hold on, because it was somewhere here. I know I had an innie and an outie of the same thing. But your best bet, I put them here on my Amazon influencer store just to give you an example, but your best bet is to actually go on their website, because even on Amazon you still have to pay shipping fee even if you have Amazon Prime. So it's better to buy from their website. The selection is much wider on their website. That's cooltool.us. Okay, I thought I had something. That was the Indian. Oh yeah, there you go. Here the plume, and then there's the plume embossed. So they are the two variants of the, this is the innie, this is the outie. And then we have the scalpy. The scalpy also, the scalpy textures are deep enough. Then, as I said, the Lisa Pavelka, the Grain Creative, that is a very good quality texture, but it is from, I kept it here for people who are in Europe. This is a French company. Makins is not good, but there we go on the embossing folders. We have them here, and these are, you know, sometimes some of them are for specific tutorials that I made. And there you go, the mask folder, and as you can see, it's only $5.30. So this is the one that I am using right now. so you can easily get it. Alrighty, let me close all this and go back. Not bad. I am bad already. Okay, so for this specific thing, I'm going to use the innate, and careful on how I'm preparing my my clay. So first of all, I'm going to use, just to be able to use something that's going to work well. So let's say I'm going to make a pendant, so it's going to be bigger anyway, because when you put them together and then you place the texture on it, it's going to make itself bigger. Okay, and now I want about half of this from my, I love this, that's why I made so much, because I'm going to do something else with it. So I'm going to use about half of this, but I need the width. Let's go with this. So about half. So the goal is on the regular thickest setting on a regular machine, but it's on the 2 on a Makins. So I'm going to do the burgundy pearlescent on the thinnest setting on my Makins. And I'm going to try and get it even a little bit thinner than this without creasing it, obviously, because if I crease it, it's going to make mica shift effects. Alrighty, and then I'm going to place it on the gold with a lot of care to not trap air. And I got a little bit too much, and then I'm going to get the whole thing through the pasta machine again on a regular machine. It's the thickest setting. On a Makins is setting number 2. There we go. And now I'm going to place it real good here. Even if normally you know that I put the clay down, but when it comes to the embossing folders, I prefer to do make sure that I use the proper one. I prefer to do the embossing folder down and then the clay on top. It's easier for me because this is rigid, it's not flexible like a rubber texture. Of course, place a little bit of Armor All on it, and then I'm going to do this, and then you can use a wax paper or a big cosmetic sponge. It's entirely up to you what you decide. I'm going to use wax paper because I'm going to have to use wax paper again on the front. Alrighty, so placing my wax paper here, and you use that so it doesn't stick to your roller, and you can roll it all the way through. The best is the big cosmetic sponge, but I threw my old one because it was getting dirty, and I forgot where I put the bag of the other ones. So, yeah. And you need a really good deep impression. And I sure hope this is enough. And I'm going to make it stick really good here. And as usual, I'm going to tap to make sure there's no stuff left, but I will be using Armor All on my blade. And of course, where are my eyeglasses? There they are. Okay, so you want your blade to be very free. Never wipe it against the blade. So, I mean, with the blade touching this part. So, for that, you wipe the blade with Armor all the time while you're doing your shaving. So, the whole idea is to reveal the gold underneath. Okay, so while I'm doing this, now I can tell you updates about my health and why I think we should be good here by the next Sunday. My results, my blood test results were awesome, and here I went too deep, but it's okay. My blood sugar went from 284 on a fasting draw to 134. So yoo-hoo. And all my other functions have improved because they were all over the place, including my kidney function was close to non-functional, but everything has improved. And my doctor was very, very, very pleased. Said it's an excellent response to Ozempic. I did lose 5 pounds. It will be about a pound a week, which again my doctor said is excellent. She said that this whole feeling of fatigue normally goes away 2 to 3 months after the beginning of the treatment or the upping of the dose. But it is a normal thing because the body was used for a while to a certain level of blood sugar, and then when it doesn't have it anymore, of course you don't have energy and you're tired and you're sleepy. And she was okay with me changing my day. She said I can go, she told me to go 1 day back. Said it's better than go 1 day forward. Told me to go 1 day back. She asked me when I want to be awake, and I told her, well, ideally Saturday and Sunday. And she said, well, then get your a shot by the latest Wednesday evening. So I saw her on a Thursday. She said, tonight when you go home, do your shot because it's Thursday afternoon, and then next week get your shot on Wednesday, and that way you should be Okay, because I told her that my first 48 hours are I am absolutely narcoleptic, and then sometimes it extends into the third day, to the middle of the third day. And we calculated, and if I take my shot on a Wednesday, I should be absolutely fine. Then she also gave me prescription for a glucometer and of course test strips, so that I can check my meals and see which of them raise my blood sugar the most. And I'm seeing her again in November. She was very pleased that I did not have any of the other side effects Ozempic can give, like, intestinal issues and headaches and other things. It did not affect, as I said, my kidney function has improved, so it didn't affect negatively my kidneys. I'm gonna do this one too, because I'm not sure which area I'm going to cut for the pendant. And she also told me to up my exercises. I told her I cannot walk because of my meniscus, and she said no, she doesn't want me to walk because of my meniscus. She said I can start walking once I lose more weight, but for now she told me to up the exercise. I do chair sitting exercises and exercises for my arms and hands, but she told me to up them because of the Ozempic's weight loss effect. If I don't up that, I'm going to start losing muscle, not just fat, and we only want me to lose fat, not the muscle. So yeah, everything looks on the up and up. I just need to get used to this. See how I have here a few lines? I want to get rid of these very, very delicately to uncover my little brocade leaf here properly. Even be able to make two after all, but I'll only make one on the camera, so I don't have to keep you watching while I count grass leaves, so to speak. Excuse me. Okay, so this would be it. And then your next move is to place it on whatever you're going to bake it. Now I'm going to make this one with resin, just to show you the effects faster. But I do recommend that you use a slight cabochon type, and then you make this a veneer for the cabochon. But again, because I want to show you how this looks, I'm going to simply resin it because it's easier. Okay, so we are burnishing this really good to make sure that everything is nice and straight. Never roll, because if you roll, you change the direction the little mica particles are set, and you destroy the whole mica shift effect of it. And again, I want to thank everybody for understanding in this whole period of time. Oh yeah, and she also said that all my fatigue and stuff in the last couple years were probably because of the combination of hypothyroid and diabetes, because the diabetes, as I said, messed up my whole, you know how it messes up your whole body. It's not just the blood sugar. And another thing, if you want to give it an even better look of a brocade, one thing that you can do is to find a very, very fine, like a muslin, piece of muslin, or a very, very fine gauze, not the one for bandages, the one like gauzy material. And then after you burnish it properly, use that on it. Just that. You do not shave anything else anymore, but it's going to give it a look of fabric, and that way your piece of jewelry will look like it's made out of some ancient piece of brocade. Okay, so now I'm going to use this. I think this is a good part of it. And of course, you can use another piece of texture that you have. It's not absolutely necessary to do. Yeah, organza too. You can use. Now let's resin it real quick, and then we'll make a little bezel. But again, it will look even better if you do it cabochon style, not like this. If you cannot sand and buff, then go ahead and do it with resin, obviously. But that's what I'm trying to say. It looks better and more. And if you put organza, absolutely you do not sand it, right? You can buff it, but do not sand it if you use the fabric on top. Okay, so, and while it will be getting, and why I decided to show you this, because it's Halloween, and it's also in some areas of the country, because spring and fall are the times for Ren fairs, and you can do old style costume jewelry, and also Halloween is coming, and you can also do all kinds of you know, like a jewelry box that will look like it's made out of brocade, or even various other decorations. You can put that, if you, depending on how your house is decorated, you can do switch plates, you can do all kinds of things. You can even cover, remember I did, let me see, give me just a second here. I forgot how to. Okay, so if you remember let me share it, and then I'll switch real quick to the desktop. Okay, if you remember this, I showed how to make 4 ceramic cabinet knobs. You can use this. Again, it depends on how your house is decorated, but if you have an antique a dresser that might need updating, you can do that. You can do that depending on how your kitchen is. You can do that in your kitchen, and you can do all kinds of things essentially with this. So let me get my gold ready for the bezel. Put it twice under the lamp just to be on the safe side. Alrighty, so I got this, and you can use whatever. You don't have to have a special corners, bezels, texture. I'm going to actually use whatever I have in hand closer to me. If you have longish ones, that helps, but you can even use this exact, depends on how well your hands work, the exact, yes, only if you use Chinese UV resin. Do not use American resin for this. It will be fine, and it will avoid your because you know how your baked clay, depending on how thick it is, it might get warped. Be like a little spoon. When you apply the resin on it, it will avoid that. But now Chinese UV resin does not yellow, does not make I don't know. I haven't seen them at all, so they are not sweet pea. They are not at all moderated. It might be, unless you try to post a link, because I noticed that YouTube does not like links in comments unless they are from the owner or a moderator. So I'm going to just give it an attempt, and you can see how old my textures are. They've started cracking. And by the way, you can use Armor All for your textures. What the heck happened here? I had a blip here. Hold on, I need to get this again. Something happened. It was like there was a little hill there. Yeah, I don't know. It's not. That's not something that we control. Usually, when a comment is moderated, you do see the comment, and then you see a notice of what happened to that comment if it was moderated. Okay, let's try this again. I think I know what's happening. It doesn't have room to go forward, and my hands are getting tired, so I'm not going to do anything anymore. I'm going to just do the bezel in 2 pieces. Alrighty, so before baking, about this size should be good. And you can even do a mica shift. You don't have to do it like this, but if you want it to look like a costume jewelry, you want to do it like this and then put a little bit of metallic wax on it, and it should do just fine. Okay, this one is slightly thicker than the other one. Okay, and we are going to do a diagonal. Oh, I lost my camera. A diagonal and a diagonal. So you just make sure that it is well against the, and again, remember that it's better if you have a cabochon type one. And then you shine it with, you know what, I'm going to do it half and half, as I said. I'm going to do a half here, because normally I would have done it in one piece, but because it seems I have issues cutting, rolling, not cutting, I'm going to just and you usually try to cut along one element of the texture. Oops. And don't pull on it. And then you can do your backing. Remember, if you want to go for a real imitation of metal, do not do any kind of texture on the back, because not even nowadays, but definitely period jewelry, antique jewelry does not have texture on the back. Okay, and one thing that you want to do again, you don't have to put wax, you can actually just buff this. And obviously you can do this with silver as well. But one thing that I do recommend you to do is to bevel on the outside. Even if it removes the texture, it will make it look more like metal. And you can do this with the end of the handle of a paintbrush. It will be just fine. And normally this wouldn't be raised because you'd have the cabochon and it would go against the cabochon, but if you decide to do it like this, I will show you how to work on that too. So you can grab a ball stylus pen, or again the end of a paintbrush handle, and just go very gently. So you can do this, and the other thing that you can do to make it look even more like a jewelry setting, but do this first as well, because it makes it easier to do everything else. Yeah. I'm going to get this again through the pasta machine, but then I'm going to go with it very, very finely on a very thin setting. I went with like a 7, which would be like an 8 on a regular machine. Not you, I want the rigid one. And then you cut a super thin strip. And you might want even to cut it a little bit in a diagonal, but you want it thin, about 1 millimeter thin. And there we go. And we are going to place it again, a little diagonal thing. It makes things easier to join when you use a diagonal. And just make sure that it comes all the way to the, and it doesn't start turning, twisting. I'll fix it here in a minute. Let me first place it, because you want it to be very nicely and evenly placed. And then just go around with your finger to make it get properly evened out. Again, remember that normally it would look much better, but it's kind of hard to do things perfectly under the camera. Okay, so let's now change the focus so you can see it in a close-up as usual. Okay, so imagine that this is let me turn down the intensity of my light and go on daylight. And imagine that this is with that organza thing. It's going to look absolutely fabulous. You can use this also if you want to make something like coats of arms. You can use let's say a green and gold or a black and gold, like graphite, not black. And on one you can just cut it in a diagonal and just place gold like this, and then make one this burgundy and gold, and the other one the graphite and gold, and it will look very, very nice. So I hope you like it. I hope you'll try it. It makes beautiful brooches, even like for Thanksgiving. If you go to anywhere where people are getting dressed up as pilgrims, it makes beautiful pilgrim brooch. You can also make pretty bangles with this, but this is essentially, remembered, it's too to get a thin layer of whatever metallic you use, best thing is to have burgundy, dark green, dark blue, or you can have the graphite. You can even have the plain bronze. That will go just fine. Thank you. I still have them. I don't know when they are going to go, but they will go sooner than later and more later. And the other thing is that you need to have a very deep texture, and it's better to use cabochon types, better to have them like this. And if you want to make them look even more like brocade, use organza or gauze or chiffon or something like that. So I hope you like it, I hope you try it, and hopefully I'll see you this time Sunday as usual, and we'll get back our Sundays. And by the way, also with the College of Dentistry, they cannot give me an appointment until because that's why I'm not showing myself on the camera anymore. My front upper brace broke, and I need to go get a new one. And they cannot give me an appointment until the end of August because most of their doctors are out in summer vacation and stuff, and they cannot do a proper scheduling yet because they also need to schedule the residents who are on summer vacation, stuff like that. Thank you so much, and I hopefully shall see you Sunday as usual at 12:30 Central Time. Thank you for all your support. I hope you enjoyed this, and see you Sunday. Bye.